Hi, I'm Rika Brandon, and I am so excited and frankly fairly touched to share this week's quick tip with you. And this week's quick tip is about employee appreciation. I think there has very rarely been times in our professional work history, or at least mine, and I started working professionally in 2001, that we have needed to acknowledge the hard work and heart our employees put into our businesses more so than right now. It has been a grueling couple of years going through this pandemic and having constantly shifting targets and goals and challenges and opportunities. And so, the first thing I would say is, it is obviously the season to express gratitude and appreciation. But it's something that you should be doing year round. But really, right now, if you haven't made a conscious effort to really demonstrate a high level of employee appreciation for what your employees, not only your frontline workers, but your managers and your leaders have gone through as we're dealing with this pandemic. This is your big sign, and this is your thing to tell you, like, this is important. Make sure you make the time to do it. And so, that can look a lot of different ways. And I'll share a couple of ways that you can express your employee appreciation, really to make it easier for you, but still meaningful for your employee. So of course, that catching them doing something right is kind of the core of great management. We want to make sure we're catching them in the moment. So that's the first and the easiest way to really express that appreciation. I see what you're doing. I value you. And I'm telling you, right? Because the number one reason people are deciding to leave and driving the Great Resignation right now is that they don't feel seen, or excuse me, they don't feel heard or valued. And so that's a really simple thing. It's very intangible. But if they're telling you they're tired, or they're sharing that, like, we can't add more sales because we're in operational meltdown mode, and they don't feel like you're hearing or respecting their opinion, that weighs on people. It gets very old, and you start to just not feel valued or appreciated at all. And that, of course, leads to people being unhappy, disengaged. And once we're at a certain point disengaged, we start actively looking to go somewhere else. So this is imperative. I know it's something that is important, but rarely urgent. Please listen to me when I say this is urgent in many, many companies right now. I work with a lot of companies in a more one-on-one type relationship, and we really are recognizing we have to be very conscious and intentional about recognizing and celebrating the hard work that our team members are doing. So this is that. The first part is make sure you start doing something. Now, the next thing is catching them doing something great, every day, every week, whatever is great. The reality is most of us want to be appreciated on a greater level as well. So that could be publicly praising them in a team meeting. It could be reading a customer comment card that's quite complimentary. It could be, telling the boss and CCing them on an email about what a great job they did on a project. There's ways where it's like we want others to see us getting appreciated as well. So although it's great one-on-one and to that person, the next step is really to give it public praise and give that a chance where that person can really, have that moment of embarrassment and also pride about being called out for doing a great job or providing great value. Now, the third is where there is some sort of reward attached to it, right? And so that is where we're looking at bonuses, we're looking at employee gifts, different things like that. Now, these run the gamut, right? From it's a Hickory Farms meat and cheese box, that's $15. Everybody gets a turkey around Thanksgiving, to, hey, here is an all expenses paid trip to Italy for 15 days for you and your spouse because you crushed your sales goal, right? That's probably the coolest one I've heard of. However, this past weekend, I was at a holiday party for a good friend of mine who works for a independently owned bank in our market, Bell Bank. And it was one of the greatest displays of employee appreciation I have ever been able to be a part of. I truly found it to be just fascinating and mesmerizing. And I'm just so happy I got included, to be totally honest. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here this week when I go live and dive into that experience a little bit more. But for right now, I want you just to really think about those three steps. That's one, making sure we're appreciating that person personally and privately. Secondly, we want to be appreciating and acknowledging their hard work publicly. And the third step is we really want to reward it. And that reward is often monetary or gift or something like that. Those are kind of the three stages of employee appreciation. And I encourage you to incorporate all three Obviously, we can't be giving people rewards, every day, all the time. That would get a little bit hard on the P&L. But I hope this helps implement this employee appreciation. Of course, if you have questions, I encourage you to book a call with one of my team members. They love to talk about how you can improve your recruiting and retention results and give you ideas that you may not have thought of that are surprisingly easy to implement. So with that, there should be a link below. I encourage you to schedule that call and go forward and learn more about how you can get better results from recruiting and retention. Happy hiring!